We're outsourcing our healing again. There's no secret frequency that's going to heal you or transform your life. It's your presence added on to the sound that is the medicine. Right now, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people listening to audio tracks online that are tuned to 432, 528, 936 Hertz. You would have heard of solfeggio frequencies, these ancient Gregorian healing frequencies used by medieval monks. The truth of it is that the monks had no concept over Hertz. That unit wasn't even invented until the 20th century. They had no tuning forks. That didn't come around until 1711. And the specific link between those chants and the modern frequencies like 432, they were actually invented by an American author in 1999. So this whole trend is just that, a trend. There's not a lot of truth to it. Not to say that it's not false, that sound does heal. And those chants are powerful. But the reasons for them is not exactly what the internet says it is. The key is to understand the real science behind how sound and frequency work to heal you. And that's far more personal and far more accessible than any Spotify playlist with a certain frequency. I want to show you all about this. You ready? Let's go. Let's start with the actual truth of this ancient Gregorian story of solfeggio frequencies. The mythology is beautiful in itself. We don't need to create some modern trend of hype and healing. It was the 11th century. There's an Italian Benedictine monk named Guido who created one of the most influential systems in the history of music. He was using this Latin hymn to teach singers how to sight read. Each line of the hymn was one note higher than the last. This is where the sounds came in. The hymn was ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. You can see a similarity there in the current solfeggio system, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This was the original one. It started back in the 11th century. That evolved into the current one, and that's trained hundreds of thousands of choirs. It's been the go-to for training for sound. The syllables are real. The chanting was real. Now, these monks were not chanting at these frequencies. If you listen to a 528 Hertz or a 7, whatever it is, Hertz, these are high pitches that no human voice could sing. So that's out the window. But they were chanting these tones, their hymns, in these stone cathedrals that would create layers of harmonics and sounds. If you've ever been in any of these cathedrals, it's just insane just to sit in there and just to hear the sound and the reverberation, the acoustics in these places. It would have been a beautiful healing experience to be amongst that, probably profound and moving. That all existed, that all happened. But the idea of Hertz, no such thing. Cycles per second, that wasn't developed till the 20th century. And tuning forks, they were invented 1711, and the monks were using a relative pitch. A note shifted depending on where they started. So Monday, they could be singing from a 436 note, and then Tuesday, they were doing a 440 A note, and so forth and so on. It shifted depending on where the singers were comfortable, where their voices were going, what they were feeling. So there was no fixed 528 Hertz or 432 Hertz because those numbers didn't even exist. Then you say, well, where'd that number come from? That's where the American writer comes in. So Dr. Leonard Horowitz, he published a theory connecting these ancient syllables to the modern frequencies. And basically what he used was numerology. So he didn't measure any of the recordings. He didn't stumble upon some secret mantra or hymn that was stored for centuries. It was just uncovered, unearthed in some dig somewhere. And then all of a sudden he had the secret keys to vibrational frequency and healing. He used numerology and assigned modern Hertz frequency to each one of these notes of this hymn. So that's where he came up with a mathematical system that he concluded that Mi, which stood for the Latin word mira gesterum, meaning miracle, should equal 528. Whatever math he was using, however he figured it out with the numerology, that's what he found. And that became the love frequency or the miracle frequency, the DNA repair. And hence that was born. And then it was just good marketing from there on to create these frequencies. I'm not dismissing the whole idea. I think that there is validity behind what he did. There's an intention, there's an awareness, there's a wisdom that he was using to bring those numbers forward. But the actual story of the monks using them and singing at these, and that these are the actual keys to the healing of sound and changing your life, not so much. Why am I harping on about it? Is because this matters, because the healing is not attached to a specific number or frequency. When we start to say, I need this 528 or this 432 or whatever the number is to create healing, we're outsourcing our healing again. There's a whole nother reason why sound is healing and how sound heals you. What's actually happening when frequency impacts the body and creates a healing or a therapeutic experience, it's not about a single frequency. It's never just one frequency. Any sound, it's got one fundamental, so your 528 hertz or your 432 hertz. But there's also dozens of harmonic overtones layered on top of that. You're hearing multiple notes, multiple frequencies are coming out. My voice is not just one tone, one frequency. Even tuning forks, if it's tuned to a frequency, you've got harmonics that are being expressed as well. So you think of it like a chord, right? So there's more than one note, or like more than one guitar string. It's not just one guitar string. Even in a guitar string, you got harmonics. You're hearing a complex mathematical interlocking of frequencies. They're all vibrating together. And your voice is the same. You're not generating a single hertz value with your voice. You've got a rich tapestry of sounds and frequencies and tones that are coming out. And from that, your entire body participates in this multidimensional layering of frequency. Here's where it gets really wild, is that science now is taking different frequencies, different tones, and putting them together and finding that they have an impact on biological tissue. Like they're actually impacting cells in the body or tumors in the body. And it's not just one tone, it's a specific ratio of tones and intervals that appear to interact with the living cell. And that makes sense if you start to lean into cymatics, because the bioacoustics, you can see one tone on a plate with like sand will create a certain pattern. And if you extrapolate that out into 3D reality, you've got to imagine that there's probably a multitude of harmonics and sounds and frequencies that are being transmitted to create a three-dimensional reality or a multidimensional reality that we live in. And that then creates this biological symphony of sound and cymatics that we have yet to capture, but it's present. And it all comes from a multitude of different frequencies and different sounds all working together. There's no secret frequency that's going to change your ailment or heal you or transform your life. It's a multitude of frequencies that the body responds to. We haven't fully grasped the power of sound yet on a scientific level. We've harnessed the power of light through electricity. At some point, we're going to harness the power of sound. The harnessing of sound to be some other technology. And that technology is going to transform the way we live in the world, because it's going to have such a greater potential in it, because sound is in essence consciousness. So we'll have at our fingertips then the ability to work with consciousness. How cool is that, right? There's another thing that I want to mention. Then I hardly ever hear anybody talk about this. It's not just the sound. Tom Kenyon mentions that the sound is the vehicle for consciousness to move into form. We need an awareness, so an observation, some sort of presence, and that observation has an intentionality. So the observation needs to be focused in, directed into where it wants to go. And in order to get there, it needs to have a vehicle. And that vehicle is the sound or the vibration. That's the formula, I feel, of working with sound in a healing way. Is that awareness plus intention plus the frequency. That equals the healing or the transformation. Thought, imagination, emotion, all that stuff then is layered upon the intention that allows you to direct that frequency into form. And that's where we start to really get into the healing power of sound. And what we really need to develop, it's not so much a magic frequency, the right crystal bowl that we need to purchase. It's the intention that you put in to the bowl that then creates the healing. I'll refer back to my favorite mystic, Hazrat Inayat Khan, the Sufi mystic. He wrote that, I've got a quote here. He says, "Sound is the force of the universe expressed through the human instrument." He didn't say sound is the exact right hertz on your phone through this thing I downloaded in Spotify. He said, become the instrument. You are the instrument. Your awareness, your intention, your emotional state. Those are additions to the sound that are carried on the vehicle of sound, and the chords are the physical transmitter of the sound. The vocal cords transmit, the intentionality comes out, and we express it through the sound into the world. And that ultimately then is the way that we start to work with consciousness and signal into the world that which we want to manifest. It's a powerful thing, and there's no logarithm, there's no frequency that can generate it for you. You've got to come into an awareness and an understanding of your own voice, your own instrument, and allow that to express. So what do you think? Shall we do a practice now to help us do that? What I want you to experience is the difference between a simple sound and the state that you're in. The sound will change depending on the state that you're in. The first one we're going to do is a simple hum. Again, a hum is easy. You can do it in most places, but just keep your eyes open. So eyes open now, and just think about this. So look around the room. Is it somebody there that could hear you? What's going on? You got to get to work. The kid's just in the other room. Like, what's going on? What's happening in your life? Just keep your eyes open. Just go, You can even elongate it, right? Keep your eyes open. Keep engaged into the world around you. Okay. You start to feel a bit of a tone vibration. Might soothe, satiate you. There's other videos I have where I talk about how the vocal cords are impacting the vagus nerve and engaging the parasympathetic. So that's happening regardless of where our attention is, and our intention and our awareness. And now, let's move our awareness inward by closing our eyes, right? So let your eyes close. Take a deep breath in. Hands on the belly, hands on the heart. Okay, now we're getting intentional with this, right? Feet on the floor. Feel the weight of your body in the chair, wherever you are. And you have a clear intention now. Let's just have an open intention, or a clear intention to open our heart. Bring more clarity, more peace, more connection. All right? Simple. Feel that. Drop in. Eyes closed if they're not already. One breath. Just to breathe, relax. And let's breathe into that clarity, peace, courage, love. Deep breath in and hum it out. Let's bring gratitude in. It's a powerful feeling. Hold a sense of gratitude and love. Send that gratitude and love through every cell of your body. And just breathe easy. I don't know about you, but I could feel a big difference between those two. Eyes closed, inward, letting myself surrender, intentionally creating gratitude, peace, all that. Same practice, different state of being. Harmonics, overtones, the body resonating, the cells resonating, not just one frequency from a YouTube video. It's your presence added onto the sound. That is the medicine. The presence is the medicine. The intention is the medicine. The awareness is the medicine. Not so much the sound. The sound is the carrier. The frequency is the carrier. Something to think about, something to sit with. The reason that I really want to get this out there is because there's so many of these trends happening, and so much money is being pumped into marketing to people different gadgets and tools and things that could actually be sold to make money at the end of the day on what's trending. But the truth of it is, using your voice and sound is an ancient healing modality. And the wisdom within it is yours. It was always yours. It was never anybody's to sell to you. You just forgotten how to use it. So with the work that I do is to teach you how to open your voice again, how to reclaim the healing potential that you have within you. There's no reason for you to be struggling in life and suffering and in pain and disempowered and feeling alone. Like, these types of things are all stemming from the fact that you've suppressed your voice, that you haven't opened into an authentic expression and learned how to use the power of your voice to create the life that you desire. That's what this is all about. That's what the Sound Awakening movement is about. It's about awakening the human potential through the power of sound. If you want to do more, we've got lots of things coming, lots of things happening right now. Plug in, get on the website, check out the things that I'm doing, subscribe here so you can hear about all the other things that are going on and get access to things as they're launched. A 21-day process is coming soon. The masterclass is coming. There's a whole mentorship that I'm developing. It's just almost here. 20 years worth of doing this work, and it's just landing now. I'm so excited to see where this goes, and thank you for joining me. Let me know how that experience went, what your thoughts are on the frequencies and everything that I just spoke to. Much love. We'll see you soon.